Hi there. This video will go through how to create a maintenance proposal in Duranta. To get started, I'm going to tap on Create a New Proposal, and I'll give it a name, usually the customer's name. So let's just call this Roberta New Clienta. And this will put it directly into my CRM. Next, I'm going to type in an address. And you will see that Duranta automatically pulls up the property owner of this particular property. Duranta starts doing some analysis. So what Durant is doing right now is it is calculating the square footage of every part of this particular property. The beds, the trees, everything else. It takes about 10 seconds. And in the bottom left, you can see this icon called View AI Map. If I tap on it, I can get an initial answer as to what are the measurements of this property. But before I do that, I noticed that the property boundaries don't quite match up with what I would expect. So I'm just going to drag this down over here. Great. So now Durant is rerunning the AI analysis. This is the first step of any maintenance bid. You always want to make sure you have accurate property measurements. All right, let's take a look at what we have here. So I'm tapping View AI Map again, and I can start off by looking at different segments of the property. For example, if I want more details, I can tap on the lawn area, and it gives me not only the square footage of the lawn, but the perimeter of the lawn. Okay. I can go back and take a look at the trees, for example, and it shows me what the tree coverage of the property is, or even small areas like the planted beds here around the property. I also have the option of selecting multiple areas on the property. So if, for example, I just wanted to select the trees, or I wanted to select the lawn, or I wanted to select the lawn and this tree in the middle, because I want to service both together, I can do that. I can tap on any areas of the property and tap them again to remove them. All right, let's go ahead and get started with a fertilization program. And I am going to focus on this areas in the front of the property. So I'm going to tap on Create Service, and I am going to select one of my service items that I've saved in my favorites, fertilization, for residential. So here you can see the area I'm servicing. It's about 7,400 square feet. My rate for residential customers is about $30 per 1,000 square feet. You can price by all sorts of units, 1,000 square feet, acre, per quantity, by hour. I just happen to choose 1,000 square feet. I can choose how often I do this. This is an annual program, and I've chosen 6 times a year. I can pick a start date and an end date, but if I leave it blank, it will assume it's a full year. And I can even choose what sorts of materials I am going to use for this fertilization. I'm keeping it blank for now. You can see a summary, it's about $222 per service. So I'll go ahead and add that there. And now I have a fertilization. Let's assume that I also want to just upsell this customer on a overall maintenance package. So I can tap Add Maintenance, and I'll choose our premium monthly package, which goes 4 times a month this time. So basically weekly, and I will hit Add. One thing we recommend is why don't you try and upsell your customer on an enhancement? So I will tap Add Install over here. And maybe we decide to add some mulch to the customer's bed. So I'm going to tap on beds. I'll zoom into the property. And this is where super zoom is really nice. I can zoom in really precisely and see all aspects of the property. And I am just going to draw the area that I care about, like this. Great. So this tells me I have about 193 square feet. I can improve it if I want. I'll hit done. Let's call this mulch bed. And I'm just going to choose a material. And in this case, I am going to choose fine dark mulch. This is my pricing per cubic yard. There are a number of options here. I'm just going to choose a depth of 2 inches. And there we go. I will go ahead and add this material over here. I'll hit add. And this is what it looks like. My mulch bed has been added to my property. All right, let's go ahead and put together a proposal. So here are the various services I have. I'm going to tap Review and Send, and you can see a preview for the proposal here. This is my recurring services. This comes out to about $700 per month for this customer, and then there's a one-time install of the mulch bed. I can make a few changes to this proposal. First of all, I can tap on Rearrange over here, and I can move different aspects of my items into sections. So let's say this is going to be part of the maintenance section. So I will move both of these down into maintenance. And then this mulch bed is going to be an optional install, or let's call it enhancement. Great. Next, I am going to add an image of the property so that the homeowner knows exactly where I'm going to put my install. We find that they really appreciate that. So I will go ahead and insert this. Then the final thing I will do is I am going to customize this proposal. I just tap and I'll say, Dear Roberta, and I can have whatever text I want. These templates can look however I want them to look. So let's go ahead and add in Dear Roberta. Here we go. So this is the proposal. You can add whatever text or images you want. We have a picture of our team over here, but you could add whatever you want in there. Tap Preview. A very nice looking proposal. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and share this and you can choose text, email, copy, link. Once I go ahead and I choose to say, text this to the customer, I can put in their name right there. And I will get a message when Roberta opens the proposal. Roberta can also go ahead and sign this when she receives it. We have a built-in e-signature into the application. We'll discuss that in another video. I hope you enjoyed this.